I believed his every word, the tender promises, the heartfelt vows of devotion that filled our nights with dreams of a future together. I clung to those words as if they were sacred, certain that our love was unbreakable. Then one rainy afternoon, while tidying our bedroom closet, I discovered a battered leather diary hidden behind a stack of old letters. Its pages, yellowed by time, chronicled his deepest thoughts, and there, in scrawled, passionate script, was a confession of his burning desire for another. In that shattering moment, every vow he made crumbled into bitter dust, and I realized the future we planned was built on lies. I still remember the beginning of our love story. We met during a chilly winter evening at a mutual friend's party, where the glow of the fire and the soft murmur of conversation set the perfect backdrop for destiny. He approached me with a warm smile and eyes that promised kindness and understanding. We talked for hours about everything, our childhoods, our favorite books, our hopes for the future, and I felt an instant connection. Every moment with him was filled with genuine affection. I believed his every word when he said, "I pledge my heart to you." In his presence, I felt safe, cherished, and confident that I had found my soulmate. Our early days were magical, a whirlwind of laughter, long walks under starlit skies, and whispered promises of forever. As our relationship deepened, we began planning our future together. We envisioned a cozy home filled with sunlight and laughter, imagined quiet mornings over coffee, and mapped out dreams of traveling to far-off places. He was thoughtful and generous, always listening intently to my hopes and fears, reassuring me that his love was steadfast. I trusted him implicitly. Every "I love you" he uttered felt like a sacred vow. We made plans for our wedding, a celebration of two hearts entwined, destined to face life's storms together. I poured my soul into every detail, from choosing the perfect venue to selecting flowers that would mirror the beauty of our love. I believed that our future was a masterpiece we were painting together, a tapestry of shared dreams and tender promises. Then, amid the comfort of our shared life, something began to feel off. It wasn't dramatic at first, just small, almost unnoticeable moments. I noticed he would sometimes glance at his phone with an unreadable expression, or his smile would falter for just a heartbeat when he thought I wasn't looking. I dismissed these as mere quirks, harmless habits of a man juggling a busy career and a rich personal life. But the seed of doubt, however faint, took root deep within me. I told myself to ignore it, to trust in the love we'd built, yet the unease lingered like a stubborn shadow at the edge of my happiness. One crisp autumn afternoon, as I was reorganizing our closet to make space for some new mementos of our future, I discovered a small, worn leather diary wedged between old photo albums and faded love letters. Its cover bore no title, only a delicate embossing of his initials intertwined with mysterious swirls. Curiosity and a sudden, inexplicable apprehension compelled me to open it. At first, the diary contained mundane entries about his day-to-day life, a note about a meeting here, a mention of a dinner with colleagues there. But as I turned the pages, I stumbled upon something that stopped my breath. Intimate confessions that spoke of a deep, passionate longing not for me, but for another woman. There were entries that described evenings filled with excitement and clandestine meetings. His words, at once tender and urgent, painted vivid scenes of rendezvous in hidden corners of the city, quiet cafes, dimly lit restaurants, and even midnight strolls along rain-soaked streets. I read passages where he described the warmth of her touch, the sparkle in her eyes, and how being with her made him feel alive in ways he never had before. Every line was laced with a passion that I had never witnessed from him when he spoke of our future. My hands trembled as I read, and a heavy sorrow mingled with a rising fury inside me. The diary was a roadmap of betrayal, a meticulous chronicle of a hidden love that had been carefully concealed behind the facade of everyday life. I remember closing the diary and sitting on the edge of our bed, the room suddenly feeling unbearably small. I replayed every "I love you" he had ever said, each one now tainted by the knowledge of his secret passion. The warmth of our shared moments, those quiet mornings, the gentle kisses, the promises made in whispered tones, turned bitter and hollow. I wondered how I could have been so blind, so trusting that every word he uttered was the truth. The realization was like a cold, harsh wind stripping away the layers of our shared dreams, leaving me exposed and vulnerable. In the days that followed, I became consumed by a torrent of emotions. Anger, sadness, and disbelief collided within me, leaving me reeling. I spent countless hours alone in our quiet home, rereading the diary, trying desperately to understand how the man I loved could harbor such a secret. I began to piece together a timeline from his writings, noting the dates, times, and locations of these clandestine meetings. It became painfully clear that his secret escapades were not sporadic mistakes, They were a deliberate, ongoing betrayal. Every entry was a shard of evidence, a fragment of a truth that had been hidden from me for far too long. Unable to contain the storm of emotions any longer, I reached out to my closest friend, Sarah, whose empathetic nature had always been my refuge in times of distress. Over cups of tea in a quiet, sunlit cafe, I recounted every detail: the discovery of the diary, the intimate confessions, the vivid descriptions of a hidden love. Sarah listened in silence, her eyes filling with tears as I poured out my heart. "You deserve to know the truth," she said softly, her voice steady and compassionate. "You deserve a love that is genuine and complete." Her words, gentle yet resolute, became a lifeline, a spark of hope amidst the crushing darkness of betrayal. Emboldened by Sarah's support, I knew I had to confront him. I spent several days preparing myself mentally, rereading the diary and writing down my thoughts in my journal until I could see clearly through the haze of hurt. I assembled all the evidence I had gathered into a single folder on my computer, labeling it Truth. Every timestamp, every whispered word in those hidden pages, confirmed what my heart already knew: that the future we had planned was built on lies, and that his heart had been pledged not solely to me, but to someone else entirely. The day of the confrontation arrived on a cold, overcast afternoon. I sat in our living room, the folder of evidence clutched in my trembling hands, waiting for him to return from what he called a late meeting. The house was eerily quiet, the familiar hum of our life now replaced by a heavy silence. When he finally walked through the door, his face was calm, his eyes betraying nothing of the storm that was about to erupt. I met him in the living room, where the fading light of the day cast long shadows across the floor, and I said, "We need to talk." His gaze fell on the folder immediately, and for a moment, I saw a flash of uncertainty in his eyes, a fleeting crack in the mask he had worn for so long. I took a deep breath, summoning every ounce of courage, and began to speak. "I trusted you when you pledged your heart to me," I said, my voice steady despite the pain. "I believed every word you said about our future, every promise of love and loyalty. But I found this diary, a record of your secret desires, your hidden passion for someone else. How could you do this to us? How could you build a life with me while holding another love in your heart?" The room fell silent as the gravity of my words sank in. His face turned ashen, and for a long, excruciating moment, he could only stare at me, the evidence of his betrayal laid bare between us. He attempted to speak, his voice a weak murmur of excuses, claims that it was all just a fleeting mistake, that the feelings he described were nothing more than momentary infatuations. But the truth in the diary was irrefutable, each word a testament to the passion he had reserved for someone else. I continued, "Every time you said, 'I love you,' or promised our future together, I believed it wholeheartedly. I built my dreams around those words. But now I see that they were just empty promises, carefully crafted to keep me in the dark. How long has this been going on? How could you hide your true desires from me?" His silence was a crushing confirmation, a confession without words. In that moment, my heart broke into 1,000 pieces, and I felt the weight of every shattered dream and every whispered promise that had turned to dust. The confrontation was a torrent of raw emotion, a collision of love and betrayal so fierce that time seemed to slow. I watched as tears streamed down his face, as regret and sorrow mingled in his eyes, but I could no longer accept his apologies. The trust we had built together was irreparably broken, a fragile relic shattered by the revelation of his hidden diary. I told him that I could not, and would not, continue in a future where my heart was nothing more than a placeholder, a token of his deceit. "I deserve a love that is honest, that cherishes every part of me without secrets," I said, my voice barely above a whisper yet filled with unwavering resolve. "I deserve better than a life built on lies." In the days and weeks that followed, the full weight of his betrayal settled over me like a dark shroud. I found myself wandering through our empty home, each room echoing with memories of shared laughter and whispered dreams that now felt tainted by the revelation. I spent long nights alone, pouring my heart out in my journal, each entry a cathartic release of the sorrow, anger, and betrayal that threatened to consume me. The diary, once a hidden testament to his secret life, became a symbol of my shattered trust, but also, over time, a catalyst for my rebirth. I sought solace in therapy, where I learned to navigate the tumultuous waves of emotion that followed the confrontation. My therapist helped me see that while the scars of betrayal might never fully fade, they could serve as reminders of the strength I had discovered within myself, a strength that allowed me to confront the truth and reclaim my future. I began to understand that my worth was not defined by his empty promises or hidden desires, but by the love I held for myself and the resilience that had carried me through the darkest moments. Publicly, the unraveling of our once perfect future became a quiet undercurrent among friends and family. Whispers of sympathy, gentle consolations, and supportive messages accompanied me wherever I went. I found the courage to share my story on a personal blog, writing with raw honesty about the betrayal, the painful confrontation, and the slow, often agonizing process of healing. The outpouring of support was overwhelming. Strangers who had faced similar betrayals, old friends who reminded me of my worth, and words of encouragement that served as a lifeline during my most vulnerable moments. Each message was a reminder that I was not alone in my pain, and that even in the face of the deepest betrayal, there was hope for a future filled with honest, genuine love. As the months turned into a year, I slowly began to rediscover who I was before the betrayal, a woman with dreams, passions, and an unyielding capacity for love. I ventured back into the world of relationships cautiously, each new encounter approached with a blend of guarded optimism and the hard-won lessons of my past. Every sincere smile, every kind word, began to stitch together the fragments of my shattered heart, slowly forming a new tapestry of hope and resilience. I learned that true love must be built on transparency, that every promise is sacred when it is delivered with honesty, and that I deserved a partner who valued my trust as much as I cherished his. With every new day, I grew stronger, more determined to build a future defined by truth rather than deceit. Now, as I sit in the soft, comforting light of my modest apartment, a space I have lovingly transformed into my sanctuary of healing and renewal, I reflect on the long, winding journey that brought me from the depths of heartbreak to a place of quiet empowerment. The memory of that hidden diary, with its raw confessions of secret passion and the detailed blueprint of a love not meant for me, remains etched in my heart as a painful reminder of the fragility of trust. Yet, it is also a testament to the strength I discovered within myself, a strength that allowed me to confront the truth, to reclaim my dignity, and to rebuild a future that is entirely my own. Every sunrise now is a promise of new beginnings, a chance to rewrite my story, to forge a future where my destiny is mine to create. I have learned that betrayal, as devastating as it can be, can also serve as a catalyst for transformation, a painful yet powerful invitation to rediscover who we truly are beneath the layers of broken promises. I now move forward with an unshakable conviction that I deserve a love that is genuine, transparent, and built on mutual respect. A love that honors my trust rather than shattering it. This is my story, a journey of shattered illusions, of a future that I once believed in now laid bare by the painful truth of his hidden diary, and ultimately, of the triumphant reclamation of my life. I trusted him when he pledged his heart to me, believing every whispered "I love you" was a sacred vow meant to last a lifetime. But when I discovered that his diary detailed a secret passion for another, a hidden world of desire and intimacy that I had never been a part of, I was forced to confront a truth too painful to ignore. In that moment, my heart broke, yet it also ignited a fierce determination to reclaim my future. Every tear, every sleepless night, every moment of raw, unfiltered pain has led me to this point, a place where I stand as a survivor, unbroken and resolute in my quest to build a future defined by truth, self-respect, and the unwavering belief that I am worthy of a love that is real. Now, as I step boldly into each new day, I carry with me the lessons of the past and the hope for a future that is entirely my own. A future where every promise is honored with honesty, where every dream is built on the solid foundation of trust, and where my heart is free to love without fear. Every sunrise is a fresh canvas, a chance to rewrite my story, to shape my destiny, and to embrace a life filled with genuine love and the brilliant light of truth. I have learned that while betrayal may leave scars that never fully fade, those scars are not marks of defeat but emblems of my survival, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the unyielding strength that lies within me. I am the architect of my own destiny, and with each new day, I choose to live a life defined not by the lies of a deceitful past, but by the brilliant promise of a future built on truth, honesty, and the unbreakable power of self-respect.